So one of the main draws personally to me about JJK is the amazing fights that are in this series, and some of these you can't even call fights, and that's what this video is about. So in today's video, I want to cover my favorite one-shot kills from JJK, and I guess I shouldn't say one-shot kills, these are just one-shot, wipeouts, like after you get hit by this attack, you're immobile or dead, so that's kind of the criteria. The person who gets hit by the attack cannot come back and rejoin the fight, they're out of commission. So let's get into it. Spoilers for the manga. I want to quickly mention Maharaga because this dude gets one-shotted multiple times, but that's his thing. He does not stay dead, so I'm not really going to include him here, even though Fuga, is basically a one-shot, and also sometimes in this animation he just disappears and then comes back. So we'll get Mr. Maharaga out of the way, and also want to say the same thing about Jogo. He did get one-shotted by Fuga as well, or at least by the fire arrow, but there's a whole fight before, and it kind of felt like he was being warmed down anyways, so I'm not counting that really as a one-shot, although it kind of is, so yeah, roast me in the comments, I'm stupid. Manga spoilers too, sorry, I always forget to put this in the video, but here it is. So for the first one-shot, I want to go with one of the most classic and one of our first one-shots kind of that stuck out to me. I mean, there's more before this canonically and in season 1 as well, but when Gojo just destroys Hanami using Infinity, I mean, he literally doesn't even do anything. He just walks towards this curse and explodes it all over the wall for everyone to see. And this is one of my favorite moments of season 2 and just shows off how insanely strong Gojo is compared to everyone else. Because we saw in season 1, Hanami is no pushover. Like, Hanami was giving Todo and Yuji a really hard time, and they're two very strong sorcerers. And Gojo just walks up to this poor plant and makes it into fertilizer. So I really love this scene, and this is the definition of a one-shot, and it's not even using really any attack. Like, it's a power, it's a curse technique, it's, infinity, but Gojo's not using purple, he's just walking towards Hanami, and this is just awesome. I know you guys are going to be pissed off at me for this one, but we got two one-hit KOs within like 30 seconds of each other. So the first one-hit KO is something very sad to see. I think it goes to show just how strong Mahito was during Shibuya. He takes out, of course, Nanami with one hit, and we'll talk about that later, but also Nobara here. He doesn't quite kill her, obviously, as we learned in the manga, and I'm really happy she comes back, but she was absent the entire story because of this one attack, literally because he touched her for half a second. But this is a one-hit KO. I mean, we all know what happens after this. It's extremely traumatic for, fans of Nobara, but she does come back, so it doesn't ultimately kill her, but it wipes her out of the story for 90% of it, so I count this as a one-hit KO. And I hate the scene because I like Nobara so much, but it happened. I think this also showcases Yuji's strength really well. He one-shots Mahito's clone into the wall with one punch. Like, that's how pissed off he was. And also shows how strong he was during Shibuya. Like, his physical strength is something we don't talk about enough, I don't think. But even this early in the story, Yuji was still one-shotting, Mahito's clone, which is insane. But I really like that scene in the anime, just punching his ass in the wall, and, I cheered a little bit. The next one shot I want to bring up is Toji taking out Ino, and Ino is one of my favorite side characters in JJK. I just love this dude, but he does get his ass beat and has no chance against Toji, and this does take him out too for a really long time, and I'm pretty sure he loses his eye from this. At least it's closed later when he's talking to Gojo and some other people about using Nanami's weapon. But looking back at it, he might have not actually lost an eye. I mean, it is closed in this panel and looks pretty injured where Toji punched him, but in this panel here, you can see his eye's fine. But either way, he got one-shotted, so he's on the list. A quick one-shot I also want to mention is when Megami gets absolutely bitch-slapped by Maharaga here. This is a one-hit KO. Megami would have died from Maharaga here if, Sukuna hadn't come and healed him. But yeah, I count this as a one-hit KO because it's exactly what it is. But quick one here, let's get on the next one. The next fight is also extremely unfair, but it's not really what you think it is. So Panda actually fights Kashimo in the Culling games, and he gets his ass beat, but it's not a one-hit KO. He turns into gorilla mode and still gets beaten up. But he actually unleashes his sister, which is, kind of a strange thing with Panda, is he has separate cores inside of him, and his sister is one of those cores and has this kind of unique look. And when he spawns her out to attack Kashimo after he'd been defeated in his gorilla mode, Kashimo literally just annihilates his sister, just one-shots her, and Panda's body explodes everywhere. Was low-key talking shit here too. He was saying how his sister had basically killed anyone who had seen her before, and of course Kashimo one-shots her and then, you know, starts to interrogate Panda about Sukuna's whereabouts. But this scene's pretty cool, although it's kind of unfortunate to see that this was hyped up a little bit from Panda, and, you know, he gets annihilated here and actually becomes a smaller version of himself for the rest of the story. So practically all of Sukuna's kills in JJK are almost one-shots, but the one I want to talk about here is when he goes after Ryu Ishigori. To further plunge Megami's soul into a depression, Sukuna heads to the Sendai colony in order to kill Yorozu, who had incarnated into Megami's sister's body. And if you remember the Sendai colony, that's where Yuta fought Ryu and Ro. And Ryu, being a fiend for battling, steps in Sukuna's way. And for this, he gets slashed across the chest. Sukuna claims he was trying to cut him into 3 pieces, but he actually tanked it. This meathead then tries to rush Sukuna full speed, you know, looking kind of badass, but also what a dumbass. And he tries to fire off the granite blast at Sukuna, and this, of course, gets his head sliced into 3 equal parts. I do realize this technically isn't a one-hit kill since Sukuna slashed him once before, but I feel like that was just him being sloppy. He definitely could have killed him in one shot, but maybe he just wanted to see how powerful he was. Next is Mimiko and Nanako, and of course this is one-shots. What were they going to do to fight Sukuna? But, you know, they kind of had it coming. They weren't the greatest of people. Oh, I love the "you gonna cry" look that Sukuna gives here. I don't know, it's just goofy as hell. And yeah, this is a one-shot, as many of Sukuna's skills are, so let's move on to the next one. Probably my favorite one-shot in this entire list is when Gojo gets unsealed and Sukuna and Urame confront him, and Gojo just eliminates Urame right away. He doesn't kill her, but he just punches her, sends her flying into a wall, and it's just like, who are you? Get out of here, like, you do not matter at all. And that might be the cover of this video. I haven't made the thumbnail actually yet, but it's too funny. And I think for the last one-shot on this list, I'm going to put a kind of depressing one, and that would be Choso. Of course, he pretty much has to go up against a nuke when Sukuna unleashes Fuga on him, and he does all he can to protect Yuji, and of course he does successfully, but he does get one-shotted, unfortunately. He gets absolutely cooked, literally, in a furnace, and rip Choso. This was actually a really good death, I think, though. He really fulfilled his purpose, and sucks to see him go, though. It is a one-shot. So with that, I'm probably going to wrap this video up. If I missed any blatant one-shots, please let me know, because I know for a fact I definitely missed some. But these are just the ones that came to the top of my head or I thought were funny, especially the Urame one. That's pretty much the sole reason I went out of my way to make this video. So I want to thank you guys a lot for watching. I have a few more video ideas kind of cooking right now, but nothing concrete. So let me know if there's anything specific you want to see, and I'll catch you in the next one. Thanks so much, and bye.